Let's go watch it in 2D. No, let's go watch it in 3D. But if we watch it in 3D, then is it worth the cost?
I thought cave people died off years ago.
We happy meet you. Thanks.
Oh. We are the Bettermans.
Better man?
Emphasis on the better.
Is that your home?
Kind of big, isn't it?
Hello. This is Adolf, and I have with me New Jake.
Hi, everybody.
And today, New Jake is reviewing a new 3D movie.
Sorta.
Which one is that, Jake?
That would be the Croods A New Age.
Which is the second Croods movie. And is there a Croods TV show? Maybe there is. I don't remember.
Yeah, Dawn of the Croods on Netflix.
So, have you watched that show?
I have not.
Okay. So, you did watch the original movie recently.
I did, yes, in 3D.
And as always, we'll start off with the 3D section of this movie.
What 3D section?
So, what happened?
The trailers promised 3D in the trailer, but the nearest 3D trailer, the 3D theater to me, was about 150 miles away in another state.
And for me, the nearest 3D theater that had this movie was about 350 miles.
Wow. And you're in Texas.
I'm in Texas, so that would be at least a 3-hour drive.
Oh, wow.
Which, and then Classic Jake did say that he was going to review this, so we didn't need to mention that. Now, Classic Jake lives in a state where he currently is in lockdown. So he was unable to physically go to a theater. And I thank you, New Jake, for taking over and taking the risk right now, because we are in a pretty horrible time in the coronavirus pandemic.
Right.
So, obviously you cannot fairly give a score to the 3D aspect of this movie. But you could say what the potential could have been, what you think, based on the movie you did see, could this have looked great in 3D, or good in 3D, or bad?
I think it would have looked really excellent. I could tell it was made in 3D. Certain shots, there's going to be a lot of poke in the eye stuff. But I think it was going to look excellent in 3D. Probably one of the best ones of the year if it came out in 3D near me.
So you definitely think potential is there. A lot of stuff flying around, a lot of stuff that could use depth-wise well.
Right, yeah, because they had a lot of characters in the foreground, a lot of action shots where they came towards the screen, sticks coming at you, just a whole bunch of stuff that had the potential to look amazing in 3D.
And the animation style is, 3D character models, and they would look good. There's really lush kind of environments, right?
Yes.
So for now, in fairness, we can't do the review, and it's out of our control what theaters have it in 3D near us, and if we're in a government lockdown or not. So it's out of our control. So right now we don't have a choice but to give it no 3D available. Now, you did say before we started recording this podcast that you spoke to the manager. How did that go of the local theater?
I didn't do a face-to-face. It was just over Facebook Messenger. He said that he contacted the theatrical supplier of the movie. I forgot what he called that exactly. But he put in an email saying that I told him who I was and why I wanted a 3D screening. And he said, well, I sent an email to the vendor, and he said he should know around Tuesday of next week to see if there will be at least one showing a day of 3D. So I'll see how that goes.
So for the time being, since there's no 3D, we're not going to have a written review. So this is going to be it. And if you are able and it is safe, you said that you're willing to rewatch it in 3D.
Yes, I will.
And we'll record again if that day comes. If we doesn't, then it is what it is.
Right.
But again, I don't want you to feel pressured. It is a pandemic, and it is not necessarily a safe time, so you don't have to.
No, I mean, this theater is just, it's very open. They got this seats spaced apart really well, and it's kind of out of the way, so it's not near any really big city to, get a whole lot of audience. But, I still kind of, I get it.
Well, I definitely recommend if you do go, seeing it. I don't know if you wear a mask the whole time or not, or hand sanitized when you're there.
Oh, yeah, I sanitize. I wear a mask unless I order a drink. Then after that, I just put it back on. So that's usually what I do. I just get a drink, take it off, put it back on once I'm done with that drink.
Currently, Croods 2 is not available via streaming, so we don't have the option to watch it. We have to watch it in theaters right now.
Yes.
Now, let's go on to the movie itself. So, how is Croods 2?
It is completely competent. It is okay. It's just a movie. I mean, it's a good movie, but it's not fantastic or anything.
For the podcast would be the everything. So, what's the plot of this movie? I saw the trailer, but is there more to it than that, or is that basically it? Can you recap it for anyone that?
Yeah, that is literally it. It's just the Croods are still on the adventure, on the move from the first movie, just looking for that place called Tomorrow, in quotes, and they come upon this family called the Bettermans, who have pretty much just industrialized farming and kind of had their own home, and they're just called the Better Man because they are better men. And they get introduced to their daughter, and they apparently know the Ryan Reynolds character Guy, and they just kind of prove them to be like, we are better and you are cave people, essentially. And it's your typical plot, for a kids movie, apparently, or almost any romantic comedy essence.
Okay, so what are your overall thoughts? Is it funny? Is it enjoyable? Is it a good heart, or what?
It's enjoyable. It was kind of short. It's just that plot wasn't too engaging for me because I had seen it literally a million times before. It's like, we're the better people, but we have you're inferior because you have these actions, these thoughts, these tropes, but then it's like, oh, we have issues too. We are not as superior as you think we are. It's your typical stuff, and it's okay as a sequel.
Now, it's a sequel. Is it standalone, or do you really need to see the first one on the TV show to understand what's going on?
For what I take it is the TV show is just a prequel to the first movie, so you don't have to watch it. And then this one has a nice little recap of the first movie in the first 2 minutes, so you really don't need to see the first one at all.
Okay. So it's fairly cliche, your standard kids family movie, nothing too exciting or interesting.
Yeah, just check your brain at the door and just enjoy the colorful delight. That's it.
Okay, so what score would you give the movie itself?
A solid 6 out of 10. Because there was some decent parts of humor and some outrageousness in certain parts, but other than that, it was just okay.
Okay, besides anything else negative-wise you want to mention, besides the clichéness of it?
There is a significant part of the movie where it kind of goes into quote-unquote girl power, where it was kind of unneeded, and it kind of got sort of political in a way, where it's just all these girls and one guy kind of team up, and it's like girl power, almost something like Birds of Prey. And like we are girls and we are tough, and the men, they could be effeminate. So I mean, it just has those cliches in there too.
Okay, so I guess ultimately the bigger question is, should you and your family potentially risk going out to the theaters during the pandemic to watch this movie? Yes or no?
No, not at all.
6 out of 10. It seems like a fine movie. I mean, it's the original. Came out, was it 7 years ago?
7 years ago, back in March of 2013.
So that feels like forever ago.
Oh yeah, too long.
I did feel like I liked the original. I did not see this movie, by the way. I'm just kind of here to help Jake out. This is his first review, and just I'm not going to risk myself to go. So I did enjoy the original more than I thought I was going to. It's more of a movie than I thought it was going to be, I guess.
Oh yeah.
I guess from what you tell me, this one is not as good as the original, without directly comparing.
It is not.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as good.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I think that's going to be it for this review. Anything else you want to mention about it, or is that it?
There is a good cover version at the end of the song of, I forgot what it is. It's a Tony Orlando song done by Tenacious D. It's really good. It's probably the best part of the movie.
Do you see any post-credits or mid-credit scenes or anything, or no?
There was no post or mid-credit scenes from what I can tell, but the cleaning crew was in there, and they were just tapping their toes waiting for us to get out, so we just left.
And the animal design, is it still like dinosaurs and stuff, or is it cool, or what?
It was okay. It kind of felt like Cloudy 2, where you have all these animals with food combination, but this one is like an animal with a different animal, like wolf spider and armadillo kangaroo, just stuff like that. It just kind of felt forced and unneeded.
Okay, so it's a smaller scope movie, and you said the song, I Think I Love You, right?
Yes, I Think I Love You by Tony Orlando and Dawn. Yes, couldn't think of it.
Well animated, overall. Yes. Okay.
Yes, so, well animated. It looked like they spent some money, but it was still smaller in scope. It was kind of saddening.
Okay. Ultimately, not terrible movie, but not a great movie. Not a good movie either.
Yeah, good for kids. Adults, not so much.
All right. That sounds like a pretty good overview of everything that's in this movie. Thank you for listening. Thank you for reviewing this, Jake. Bye.
Oh, no, not a problem. Bye.
Before this podcast wraps up, I want to thank my patrons. Thank you, Kano3D and Mr. Bango 5 for your financial support on patreon.com. So that's going to be it for this podcast. Thanks for listening. You can find 3D or 2D on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and more. Just look for 3D or 2D. Links are in the info box. If you want to send us listener mail, our email address is email3dortwo@gmail.com. Thank you for either listening or watching this podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.